Hey Chip, Daniel, how you doing? Morning, Mark. How you doing? Just getting my other screen on so I can see the messages more easily. Hope you've all been enjoying your festivities. Although I don't celebrate it myself, I can certainly wish you all well. I enjoy my festivities, and I enjoy it when other people are happy and enjoying themselves. Hey Tony, Tim, how you all doing? You can say Merry Christmas if you want, Chip. I've got no problem with that at all. We all celebrate our own special times of the year in our own way, and we can enjoy it with other people at the same time. We may have different core beliefs, but there's absolutely no harm in respecting other people's times of festivities. Why not? Hey, Michael. NC Piper, how you doing? Got a nice mug of PG Tips on the go. Yep, Merry Christmas it is. Just waiting for my computer to fully boot up. Had it off today, so it gets turned off once a week, my computer, so gotta wait for it to wake up. There we go. The pipe in the thumbnail is the acorn, which I've had on my website for quite some time. That's this pipe here. It's a pipe which I'm kind of been a bit flummoxed as to why it hasn't sold yet. And I actually had it on my rack the other day because I was going to fire it up myself, but I pulled back at the last minute. Absolutely gorgeous pipe. Got beautiful stem, hand-cut stem in that sky blue eldritch rod. Lovely bird's eye. It is a great pipe. So there's a few pipes I wanted to put out tonight. There's one which hasn't been on my website yet, and I want to talk about a pipe that I'm in the middle of working on, pipe 499, which I'm revisiting. I also put out a video a little bit earlier on about Mike's live stream with Avid Piper with Nish. So we can talk about that as well. A pretty amazing evening by all accounts. I was on there for about maybe an hour or so. I missed the first part of it, and I turned up sort of right in the middle of him talking about LCS briars, and I didn't quite understand. In case you haven't seen my last video, which I uploaded earlier on, which I kind of said the same thing, but I heard him mentioning LCS briars and $350. I thought, what's going on here? I didn't understand at all what was happening until somebody explained that he was actually giving a $350 voucher, so to speak, to people that he had drawn out from his giveaway, and giving them a credit to various different pipe makers, and I was one of them, for which he gave a $350 credit, which was awesome. And he's already sent the money, which is unbelievable, and I've already been in touch with the person who's getting the pipe, and he's already instructed me on what he wants, so I'm gonna get moving on that during the course of this week. It was an amazing evening, but for me, I mean, I've seen giveaways which have given away more stuff, maybe not more money, but I mean, Mel Harris, Garbage Man Piper, I mean, his giveaways legendary. He would give away in one night, he'd give away something like 10 pipes or something like that, and he's also legendary. But what was different about this one with the Sikian pipes was the backstory, and I didn't understand the whole concept of it until I heard that backstory, and then my whole position did a 360 degrees. Not that I had anything against it before, but I just simply didn't understand what was meant by the whole concept of him giving back to the community. And I thought it was just a sales gimmick, a shtick, you know, to get people into his pipes and stuff, which I thought, fine, that's great. It's an excellent concept to get people to buy your pipes. And I gave him full credit for that. But I didn't understand what he meant by giving back to the pipe making community until he explained that he was giving out these vouchers where he gave out a lot of money, essentially, which I thought was pretty awesome. And hey, Mike. I'm wearing my LCS briars hoodie, which is massive on me, but it's a hoodie which my kids bought for me. So he then started talking about the backstory, and he was talking about his. I haven't actually started smoking. I smoked a bowl outside. I'll show you the pipe I'm working on in a minute. He started talking about the fact that his wife had said to him, you know, you're an Armenian pipe smoker, you're into the hobby, why haven't you supported Armenian pipe makers? And he initially said to his wife, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't know any. And she found this guy, this Asikian Pipes, they created a relationship, Nish and this guy, and he's devised this very, very clever, but not just clever, but very charitable, altruistic way of bringing Asikian pipes into the YTPC, into the pipe smoking world, to bring him notoriety, to bring him, you know, fame, if you like. And he's done that in a very, very charitable way, and it's pretty awesome, really is. And he's basically funded the guy to make pipes for a year, and then found a way to sell those pipes. Yes, to give incentives, of course. Beautiful pipe, the Castello. Incidentally, I missed that part of who won that pipe, but whoever did win it, congratulations. But he's really obviously put a lot of thought into it, and really made sure that everybody goes away winning. Unbelievable. This is not my own merch. This is a gift that my kids bought for me. I don't know if you can get this on the back. My kids had that made for me. Hey Quinn, how you doing? So I thought it was pretty awesome, and the making sure that everybody goes away winning is not easy. To have sat down and thought all the angles out, and made sure that it, you know, was done in a way which left everybody feeling good about it, and that's something that really impressed me, and that really sort of struck a chord with me. I thought it was pretty amazing, really, really amazing. Hey Ross. You should be getting your pipe any day now, Quinn. I'd have thought. It was sent on the 17th, I think. Bokata Boynton, Charlie. Okay, so let me show you the pipe I've been working on. So pipe 499 is a Magnum. It started originally as a Magnum apple, but it actually turned into a strawberry shape because I could do it. It was that big. So it was actually on my website for a short while as a smooth pipe. Grain very, very nice, certainly on one side. The other side was okay, but wasn't spectacular. But one side was certainly very, very good. And in the pictures, I noticed when I was looking at them, when I was taking the pictures, the way the light catches the pipe, I noticed some sanding lines on the pipe. So obviously I had to resand it because that wasn't a pipe like that. I certainly didn't want to put up with sanding lines on it. So I actually posted a picture on IG saying that one's going back to the drawing board, and somebody said, well, how is it that you only saw it in the pictures and not when you were working on it? That's a great question. I don't know, but that's actually what happened. I don't know if my garage is a little bit too dim. I don't know. Or I just missed it. It's one of those things, I'm a human being. Bottom line is, I saw it when I saw the pictures, took it straight down, resanded it, gone right back to briar. But what I've also done is, because one side, the grain wasn't so amazing, I decided to do something quite special. So what I've done is similar to what I've done in some pipes before. So there's the smooth side sanded back, so you can see that grain. It's pretty awesome. That's amazing grain there. And what I've done is a sort of a blowfish type idea on half of the pipe, and done a carb blast. Have we got any spanners in here? Can somebody get rid of Shepherd Chrissy? If not, I'll do it. Hey, Cliff. So this is pipe 499. Oh, thank you, Josh. Well done. Got there quickly. So this is, I suppose you could call it a Jekyll and Hyde, but I'm not actually calling it a Jekyll and Hyde. This is going to be more of a sort of a blowfish type of idea, although it's not a blowfish as such, but it's that kind of idea where you kind of shape one side of it, and I've decided to do that on one side. So this one is sterling silver band and a standard tenon, integral tenon. It's a slightly tapered tenon, so it goes in very, very easy, and it's only at the last sort of quarter inch that it bites, and it bites really well. And it's the second time I've done that kind of fitting on a pipe, and it really works very, very well. The silver band will have to get repolished. Thank you, Daniel. But this one almost looks like an egg being peeled back. So hopefully this one will get finished tomorrow. I'm kind of almost tempted to leave this a natural color, maybe just put some lacquer on there, shellac, and that's it, and do a lighter stain this time on this side, because the grain obviously has got this beautiful undercoat from the previous staining. Obviously I've got to sand this area back, but I haven't decided yet if I'm going to go again for a dark stain and then maybe do that side black. Hey Phil. Hi Cliff baby, how you doing? Filet mignon, very nice. Enjoy it, Cliff. Yeah, there is some really nice grain on that side. It's that kind of fiery, it's not straight, it's kind of straight grain, but which mingles in with each other. You get that. I've had that on a few pipes, and it's what Carl Newton Piper calls a forest. So when I've done a few pipes like that, I've stained them in a way where the lighter areas are kind of a golden color and the darker areas are a sort of a brown color. So it looks like there's almost like a sun setting or a fire almost behind these kind of trees. And it does look like that. It's actually quite a cool look. So that's, yeah, so hopefully it'll work. I hope I haven't destroyed the pipe by doing that. But I was careful to do the rings there really as uniformly as I can, but to also give them a little bit of a wiggle to make it realistic. And so far, really happy with it. I think it looks good. So hopefully the finished product will be nice. Hey Mozilla, how you doing? Gonna get my Briar Blues cap on. Your favorite wood is walnut. Cool. I kind of want to smoke something special tonight, and I haven't decided if I'm going to go for a pipe or a cigar. I had a bowl of, I had it in Idan's favorite pipe, my little hanger, the lightweight one, which I have outside, and I smoked some, well, you could probably guess, it was what I've been smoking a lot of lately, and that's the McBaron's vanilla roll cake. I can't quite decide what to go for at the moment. Cohiba Robusto, I saw your picture, Tim. Yeah, I had one of yours, as you know, because you responded on my post. I had the Cohiba Robusto you sent me the other night. I think it was Thursday night. And it was very nice. Thank you very much. Okay, so there's a few things that I wanted to get through. One of them is the pipe, which I put a post up earlier on, and I said that I was going to, people could have a chance of getting one of my pipes for $20. So it's a format which we've seen before. I've seen quite a few different carvers use similar formats, which is essentially raffle. And the pipe that I wanted to raffle was a pipe which hasn't yet been on my website, and that's this bamboo billiard, sort of a long-stemmed, long-shanked bamboo billiard, 2-knuckle bamboo, and it's really got quite a fine, as somebody called it, what was it, Josh, you called it? A bambing, because it's not quite a bing, because it's a little bit too wide, because bear in mind it is made for 9mm, but it's a lovely pipe. This was a commissioned pipe, and I've given the commissioner, I think it must be nearly 3 weeks now, to pay up, and he's ignored all my messages. It's the first time it's ever happened. It can happen, but you know, I've always trusted people. I don't usually take deposits. Very rarely do I take a deposit from anybody. I think in all of the pipes that I've been commissioned for, I've only taken a deposit once. Bambing. So it's got the LCS half saddle there, and again a little bit of a curve there, which kind of mimics that. That's the thought behind it. Don't send $20 with notes. Only trusted friends with address. PayPal will shut me down. What? Why is that? What do you mean with notes? Is it because it's a low amount of money and or is it? Oh no, I shouldn't put the word raffle on it. Hey hooligan. Bambing. Okay, so I mean, if people want to take part, I'll do it, and we'll just do it without any comment at all on it. You just tell me here that you're doing it, and I'll see it, and I'll make a note of it. If people think it's a bit too risky, I just won't do it. And you know, if people like that idea of doing for $20, have a chance of winning this pipe tonight, and trust me enough to be able to send those payments with no information in there, just send a $20 friend and family payment, and then when I get them, I'll confirm who it is, write down the note, and give them a number. I was thinking that a good number would be 20. If 20 people would, the first 20 people that want to take part, as soon as we hit 20, I'll close it. And I'll do the raffle as soon as it's done. As soon as we get 20 people doing it, I'll do the raffle, and it will be done with a random number cruncher, and I'll do it live. You'll see what I'm doing. I'll be completely transparent. So I thought that would be a good idea. I think, Phil, I think you've done these in the past, haven't you? You don't need to say anything. Just tell me that you've done it. I'll check it and I'll write it down. So I'm going to type the address. So it's $20. I was kind of having to think of a figure which wouldn't hurt somebody too much if they didn't win, but it's a 1 in 20 chance, which is a pretty good odds. I get paid for the pipe, and for $20 you get a chance. And I've got a whole stack of pipes here. If people were interested, I can just go through them. But I think we should just see how this goes, and we'll take it from there. So it's lcsbriars@gmail.com. No, I suppose you could do as many entries as you want. As soon as I get to 20, as soon as I get to 20 entries, I'll close it. And if people want to do it a bit more, then I can do it on another pipe. I'm quite happy to do that. What I would say is that if it works successfully, then I'll reduce the price for the second one as well. Possibly. We'll see. We'll just see how it goes. Hey, Charlotte. Essentially, the idea is, what I will say is as well, is that before we finish tonight, I'll also be doing something which is a little give back as well. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So Johnny, essentially what I'm suggesting, yeah, that's it, Phil. Yeah, the name that will come up is that. So just so you guys know that it's going to the right place. $20 US. £20 I thought would be too much. Send it $20 US. Let me tell you what it is in pounds. Yeah, £15. Let's call it £15. If you send it as £15, if you've done it as dollars, it's fine. £28. Okay. So I'll get my PayPal on the screen, and as soon as we hit 20 entries, Right, you're not watching my keyboard, are you, to see my PayPal login or my millions? So the numbers that I will give you will be in the order of receipt. So that's how I will do it. All right, it's coming in. It is coming in. Okay, so Phil is number one. So Phil, I've got £20 from you, so that's neither here nor there. Please make sure you send them as friend and family payment, yeah? Phil, you sent £28. No, you must have sent $28, Phil. You must have sent $28. So if you wanted two, then it's £30, okay? Okay, I need to just check how many we've got. So just hang fire, everybody. So you're doing one entry? I'll send the rest back to you. Yeah, that's fine. So filler's number 1. Thank you, Mark. All right, guys, just hang fire a second. So filler's number 1. Number 2 is James, and the surname begins with an S. I don't know if you want me to say the name, but just tell me who you are. Number 3 is Steph of Steph and Skip fame. Number 4 is Kurmaj. Number 5 is Oscar Flores. Oops. Number 6 is also Oscar Flores. Oscar, that came through as £28. If you can be bothered to send another 2, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's fine as well. Sean is number 7. I'll just say the first name so at least you'll know that I've got it. Sean is number 7. Michael is number 8. David is number 9. Welcome, David. You have a special place in my heart because of your father. We get on very well. Charlie. Number 10 is Charlie. You all know who that is. I'm not reading comments at the moment. I'm just checking my PayPal, so I'll come to you in a second if you've got any comments there. MC is number 11. Number 12 is Mark. See if anything else has come in since. Just going to refresh. Thank you, NC. And number 13 is Johnny Onion. Number 14 is Johnny Onion. Number 15, Cole. Number 16, Tony. Four more to go, and we'll be good to go. That's very quick. All right, let's just go back and look at the comments. Hey, Mike Davidson, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining. How you doing, Oscar? Ross? You done? What are you waiting for? Chicken. A bamboo with 9 mil will be wasted on you. Why? Over a pipe. Welcome aboard. Hillbilly, how you doing? Okay, so basically we're raffling this pipe, a beautiful billiard. It's $20 for a chance to win it. I'm going to go up to 20 entries, and then we'll do it live. We'll draw it straight away. If people have got appetite for more, I might do another one, maybe slightly less, we'll see. Mike sent in another one, let's check. And okay, so number 16, number 17 is Tim. We're very close, guys. $18 is Michael. Alright, we're very close, people. Boris. Let's see. Pipe 498. Which one is 498? This one. It's on the table. So we'll see how this one goes. If people have got the appetite for it, then yeah, I'll do that. 19 is Boris. One more place, people. One more place. All right, James, got you. 20, final place. Done, we're closed. Don't send any more. We are closed. All right. All right, Ross, have a good one. You sent a second entry. I filled the 20, unless everybody doesn't mind. If everybody says it's okay, I'll take the next entry, or you can do it on the next pipe, James, Phil. I want to be, you know, completely transparent. Let's. Are you okay with pushing that to the next pipe, Phil? Okay, Tim's okay with it going in. Okay, well, it puts you in an awkward position to say no. I get that. Oh, you're a good man, Phil. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think I'll stick to what I said. It's only fair to do that. People might feel awkward that they don't want to say no. So I'll leave it, and we can then decide if we do another one. We can put it to that, or I can send you the money back. Whatever. Just print it out. Well, that's a bit odd, Hillbilly, because unless they're just worried about the sudden influx of small amounts of money. Okay, here's the list. I'm going to read it out to you. Number 1 is Phil Rivara. Number 2 is James, surname beginning with S. Number 3 is Steph. Number 4 is Curmudgeon. Number 5 is Oscar. Number 6 is Oscar. Number 7 is Sean P. Number 8 is Michael T. Number 9 is David M. Number 10 is Charlie. Ooh, I just sold a pipe. Hang on, sorry. One of my pipes just gone out of stock. Whoa, wicked. Well, if that wasn't you, Josh, you've lost that on that pipe. No, Josh, it wasn't you. The square shank's gone, I'm afraid, Josh. I do get excited when a pipe sells. Seriously, this is my living at the moment. I'm not even joking. So it makes a difference every pipe I sell. Where was I? I'll go back to number 9. David M is number 9. Number 10 is Charlie. Number 11 is Nelly. Number 12 is Mark H. Number 3 is Charlotte. Number 13 is Charlotte. Number 14 is Charlotte. Number 15 is Cole F. Number 16 is Tony D. Tony D. Number 17 is Tim W. Number 18 is Michael once again. Michael T. Number 19 is Boris. Number 20 is James. Yeah, and this was unbelievable. Seriously unbelievable. When this pass is sent it to Phil Rivera. Wow, look at that. Phil, have you seen that? From Tim. Check out the generosity here, guys. Right, I need another phone. I'm sure I've got a number cruncher on here. It used to be on my old phone. I'm not going to do it on the screen because it's going to be difficult for you to see. So it looks like I'm going to have to install one. App Store. Random. Random number generator. What? Random number. Where's my... Oh, that'll do. Okay, so that's the random generator that I use. That's what I've had before. But they're all pretty much do the same thing. All pretty random I've done before as well. Okay, so we're doing 1, 1 to 20. So minimum 1, maximum 20. So, everybody ready? So we have a drum roll. There we go. Thank you. Let's get these numbers out of the way. There we go. Okay, so 1 to 20. Excuse my dirty fingers. 13. 13. Where are we? 13. Johnny Onion. Congratulations. Wicked. Right, so that was Bam Bing. Johnny actually has one of my pipes. He has like a 320 shape, which he absolutely loves. So I'm delighted. Let's have a look. See what we can do. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. So if there is interest in this pipe, as you know, comes with 2 stems. Which is somewhere on my desk. Okay, so it comes with a 9mm stem, and it comes with a standard 4mm stem. Because we've already done one, which I've got a good price for, I'm going to say 20 entries for £10. Okay, £10, friend and family. Pay it in pounds if you don't mind, so I know I get a clear £10. On this one, I don't really want to get £8 or £9. Okay, so £10 to lcsbriars@gmail.com. The first 20 entries, we'll do the raffle straight away live, as we just did now. I think I'm going to light a pipe. I'm kind of feeling like I should have made this one 9mm. Phil, if Phil wants to leave that money in, he can get 2 entries, yeah? No, he gets a heart. He'd need to send another £5, I think. He sent 20. Oh, he sent it again, didn't he? What did he send? Let me have a look. Sorry, he did send again. £15. So you got a fiver. You got a fiver in because he put 28. What did he send before? He sent double before. Hang on. For Rivera, I sent 14. Yeah, 14 and 14. So he's got a 15. So Phil, if you want to have a double entry, if you want to send £5, then you get 2 entries on this one. Okay, somebody has just sent in 4 entries. Cool. So we're not quite there. We're about 13 or 14 so far entries. Idan, Mazal Tov. Right, let's start typing. Yeah, so £10 is the entry. £10. If you could send it in pounds, please. And I'll put down the email address again, lcsbriars@gmail.com. The name that will come up is Saul Smuss. So if you can see that name, that's fine. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16. Nelly, you sent in 5. Did you overpay before? Oh, you sent in twice. Is that what happened? So you've done the same thing as Phil? Okay, everybody stop now. I've got to recount because I can feel them on my watch coming in. I don't want to go over 20 because it's just frustrating for people. Alright, I'm just going to write it down. It takes too long. Mike, did you send in 2? Michael? Tuttle? Was that a double one you sent? you're a good man, Oscar. Okay, no, please nobody send any more. You did, okay. Alright, so I just wanted to know where I'm starting from. So number 1 is Michael. 2 is Michael. 3 is Cole. 4 is Jerky. 5. 6, David. 7, Mark. 8, Tim. 9, Dan. 10, Charlie. 11, Johnny, won't you come on home? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 4 entries for Raymond. 16. It's going to be the first 20, so if we go over, then I'll have to either refund or maybe we'll do another one if there's enough people. 16 is James Green. 17 is Nelly. 18 is Phil. Johnny. 19 and 20. No, sorry. 19 is Kathleen. 20 is Oscar. Oscar, you only get 1 entry because you're number 20. David, you also only you don't get into this one because you two have gone over the 20. So either I'll send you back the money, or if there's enough people who are interested, we'll go for a third one. Okay, Jerky is Boris, I know, yeah. Hey Humdrum, how you doing? Okay, excuse my handwriting. So, number 1, Michael Tuttle. Number 2 is Michael. Number 3 is Cole F. Number 4 is Boris. 5 is Steph. 6 is David M. 7 is Mark H. 8 is Tim W. 9 is Idan. 10 is Charlie. 11 is Johnny Onion Charlotte. There's layers. He's multi-layered. Number 12 is Raymond. Number 13 is Raymond. Number 14 is Raymond. Number 15 is Raymond. Number 16 is James G. Number 17 is Nelly. Number 18 is Phil Rivera. Number 19 is Kathleen. Number 20 is Oscar Flores. This one is filtered and not filtered. So this one has 2 stems. It comes with an Eldritch stem, which is standard 4mm. Nice countersink. And it comes with a 9mm. So they're basically drilled to the same. The stems are the tenons are the same diameter but drilled differently. So that's the 9mm tenon, and that's the regular standard tenon. Okay, beautiful grain, nice little plateau, just a really nice lightweight. It's very lightweight pipe, very clenchable pipe. All right, so we're going 1 to 20 once again. Random. One to 20. So there we go, minimum 1, maximum 20. Okay. Quantity 1. Ready? Josh? Hey Everett. Everybody say your prayers, cross your fingers, do your Star of David jumps if you want. Whatever it is you do. Ready? Steady. What does that say? 14. 14. Raymond, good investment. Raymond is number 14. He bought 4. So he upped his probabilities there. So Raymond is the winner on that one. Raymond, you have my email address. Please send me your particulars and we'll get the pipe off to you. Right, so this is the one which sold before off the website, which Josh had his eye on. You can always make him another Josh, you know that. Alright, so I'll show you what pipes I've got sitting here, and you guys can choose. Okay, I'll let you guys choose. I'll take a vote, and you can choose which one. Yeah, anybody who's put an extra entry up, where there were 2 entries over, those will go forward if you want to. Oscar, the same applies to you. No worries. If there aren't enough people, I won't do it. That's absolutely fine. I don't want to take advantage of the situation, and I'll just send money back. So the payments that were over were Oscar, all the best, done. All right, Phil, I got your message. Okay, so we've got at the moment 4 entries. Oscar's got 2 entries, David's got 1, and Phil's got 1. That's where we're at the moment. I haven't really set a figure on it, but you can leave it at £10. It's fine. So I've got, what have we got here? I've got 3 pipes that I can put in for this. So you can either have this one, which is the acorn or the eldritch stem, or you could have the horn billiard, also another lightweight pipe. Kathleen, okay, she was actually a bit short, that's why I didn't see that as 2, but yes, Kathleen will be in there as well. Hang on, let me just make sure I've got everything here. So we stopped at Kathleen. Okay, so in that case we have number 1 will be Kathleen, number 2 will be Phil, number 3 will be Oscar, number 4 will be Oscar, number 5 will be David MCN. So we're at 5. Let's see, let me refresh the PayPal. It's no great shake, so I'm not going to make a fuss about it. It's £1 something or other. About £1.30 or something like that. Don't worry about it, it's fine. I'm okay. Okay, number 6 is Walker Pipe Company. Number 7 is NC once again. Thank you, Nelly. £10, yeah. I feel I ought to be smoking something. I'll go for one of Mark's. Thank you, Mark. Number 8, Steph. Number 9, James S. James S. Woo! Whoa. Okay, guys, I need you to stop for a minute. I need to count to see where we're up to. Please stop. Don't send any more in. Number 10, David. Not number 11, Paul. Hey, Paul. 12 and 13 is NC again. That's 3 entries. Good for you, mate. Phil, if you're watching, I've just seen your message. Not Phil Rivara, a different Phil. We're still going. So, as I say, if there's appetite, I'll keep going. I actually didn't anticipate all of this earlier on. I was going to do the one pipe, which was the Bam Bing, but I'm happy to do that, obviously. Right, so 12 and 13 is Nelly. 14 is Sean. 15. Oh, okay, we need to stop, people. 15, 16, 17, 18 is BB. 18, 19 is Kathleen again. Okay, I've got one spot. Let me just make sure. Oh, which pipe? Good question. I let the winner decide. I can't say fairer than that. So it's these two. Winner can decide. I haven't got time for slow flames. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Once this one is done, as a thank you, the final one I'm going to do for £5. Okay, so anybody wants to get in on that, you can start sending. So again, I'm going to go up to 20, so just £5, whichever one is left out of these two, as a thank you. Although I mean, I've got still a couple more, but I feel bad to do it. So let's just do this, and let me do that other one for £5, and then if you still want to go further, that's up to you guys. But I do need one more. Hold on, let me just refresh. Okay, we have enough. Okay, we're over. Okay, so Johnny, you're in at number 20. Okay, so no more £10. So the winner can choose between these two pipes. Okay. Okay. I can see people are sending in 2 entries, double entries. That's fine. I have to just keep an eye on it. I don't want to go over. So essentially, this one is going for £100, either one of these two, but potentially somebody gets it for a £5. Right, so let me get this one done. Charlie, for this one, it's for this £10 one, it's closed. Okay, so the one that we're doing now, that's closed. Okay, so I'm going to read out who's in. I've dropped my pencil. Okay, it's handwritten. I'm just going to read them out. If anybody wants to see it close up, I'll do that. If anybody's worried. Position number 1 is Kathleen. Number 2 is Phil. Number 3 is Oscar. Number 4 is Oscar. Number 5 is David M. David M. Write that clearly. Number 6 is Walker Pipe Company. Number 7 is Nelly. 8 is Steph. 9 is James S. Number 10 is David M again. Number 11 is Paul B. Numbers 12 and 13 is Nelly and Nelly. Number 14 is Sean P. Number 15 is BB. Number 16 is BB. Number 17 is BB. Number 18 is BB. Number 19 is Kathleen again, so that's 2 entries for Kathleen. And number 20 is Onion. Okay. Okay, so I need you guys to stop for a second because I think we're already going ahead of ourselves. It's going to get complicated. Right, so Johnny was the last one on this current one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, you can carry on. We can take some more stuff. But let's not lose track of things. So let's get this one done. Nice one, Chip. Okay. One to 20. We're ready. Good luck, everybody. 16. 16. Briar Blues. 16 BB. Mike. I'm pleased for anybody to have got it, but I'm pleased that Mike has got it because it's you can smoke that as a non-filtered pipe too, so that's pretty awesome. Nice one, Mike. Okay. No, sorry, that was the wrong pipe. It's one of these. Sorry. Mike, you got to choose. Sorry about that. That was the previous pipe. Yeah, I got you, Tim. Yep, you're right, it's the wrong pipe. It was sitting in front of me. So Mike, you got to choose one of these two. I'll tell you what, Mike, I should read your comment. Okay. Mike, Hermit, pick your pipe. Ooh, there you go, Tim. Check this out. It's going backwards and forwards. Tim, you've been gifted a pipe. Which one do you want? The faux bone. Cool. Very nice and lightweight pipe, this one. Nice grain. So this is going to Tim. Faux horn. All right. Mike, very, very nice of you, honestly. Right, the question is what to do now. I'm going to have a chocolate to start with. Charlie's in on the next. So this one has got an Ivorite shank extension, a real bovine horn extension, and a hand-cut brindled stem. Absolutely beautiful. That's it, John, you're just sending me money. That's it, keep it coming in. John's not liking this. Really, really nice pipe. So, you guys want to go in on this pipe? Okay, so this pipe I can't do for a $5. It's there's extras on this, obviously the brindle stem, the horn. see what's the best I can do here. Don't send fivers, please. I'm not doing this one for a fiver. So you might all have to top up. I just don't want it to get confusing. Okay, it's still pretty cheap in terms of what I get for the pipe, but I'll say 750. Okay, so it's still not a lot of money. I should do 30 entries. I mean, 30. There's only 37 people watching, so unless people do multiples, we might struggle to get there. 750 seem fair. It also kind of decreases the odds as well for people. Do the blue stem one for a fiver. Hey John, I'm kind of hoping that this doesn't sell. I'll do the same as I did before, okay? I'll do it for 750 and the winner chooses the pipe, okay? In terms of value, this one's a little bit higher because of the horn, and the brindle stem is a little bit more expensive than the Eldritch stem. They're both hand cut. But I'm still going to say 750, 20 entries, and the winner chooses, okay? Thank you guys, thank you. Yeah, Phil, I'm also, because I'm going to have to at some point cut them all up, but we're talking about, you know, fivers here and there. If it turns out that you're over, I'll send you the money back. If it turns out you're under, I'm sure you'll send me the fiver. So if you think you're in this one and you've paid for it, I'm okay with that. We can tot it up afterwards. We know each other well enough. The blue stem one was a fiver last time, not this time. It's simply because I want to give people a choice, and I can't do this one at a fiver. I just simply can't do it. And this one really was, I gave an option of people to, it was almost like half price, just as a thank you to the previous two. And in fact, they got a much better pipe for that money. So the price of this one is really online. I think it's also 150 or 160. It's 160 on my website. So hold on, I actually need to remove the ones that we've sold. Hang on, I don't want somebody buying it. Right, so pipe 498 is gone. What else? The horn, 480. And I think that's it until we go further. Okay, so I think from what I can see, the number one is Charlie. Number two is Steph. Alright, Steph, you sent me £3. I don't know why you sent me £3. Oh, you sent 5 before then. Okay, I got you. No, that's from... I don't get it. No, that was from before, Steph. Hold on, let me stop. Yeah. So Steph, if you want in, you got to send it £4.50, £4.50, as far as I can tell. Or you guys have been sending way ahead. Okay, I need to go further back, I think. Right, hang on. Yeah, okay, you guys are way ahead of me. Okay, stop sending, please. Stop sending. I need to just work this out. Guys, I need you to stop for a minute. The 5 and 3 is this one. Okay, fine. Yeah, I've realised I've got to go further back down the list. Okay, so Briar Blues, Kathleen, Johnny. Okay, that Johnny was the last one. Okay, I'm with you guys now. Let's get a fresh piece of paper. Yeah, I can see people are sending in advance. Yeah, my fault really. But I'm okay now. I know where we're at. Okay, so David M is number 1. Number 2. Some of you are going to have to add in the 250s, which you probably have done already. We'll see that in a minute. So you've sent 5. Number is Sean. Is number 2. Also sent 5. 3. Phil. Number 4 is Oscar. Number 5 is Oscar. Number 6 is Charlie. 7 is Boris, the ever-present Boris. Number 8 is Steph. Sent 5. And these are all 5s. Let's do this again. I'll tot up the additionals in a minute, whoever sent extras. So number 6 is David. Number 7 is Cole. Flowers. Number 8 is Cole. Flowers. Charlie is number 9. Number 10 is Boris. Number 10 is Boris. Number 5. Number 11 is Steph. 12 is Onion. 5. Number 13 is Charlie again. That's 750. Then we've got £3 from Steph. plus 3. Sean plus 250. Nelly, £15. So that's 14, 15, 16. Oh no, that's 2 entries, yeah, Nelly, that's 2 entries. 14 and 15. And C, and C. David Mott 250. David Mott 250. Phil Rivara £10. So that's 2 entries, yeah? Plus 10. So number 16 is Phil. Phil, so you've got number 3 and number 16. Mark is 17. Number 18, Cole Flowers. Mark Hill 750. Okay, so Boris is 250. Plus 250. Oscar is plus 250. Okay, number 19 is B-Dog, 750. Number 20 is Tony. Stop, guys, please don't send any more, and we're at number 20. Tony, you need to send another £2 and 15 pence, please. Let me see who else hasn't paid the full amount. Cole Flowers, you got to pay another 250. Johnny, I think you got to pay another 250. Charlie, what did you do? I think you did pay. Charlie, 785. What? Yeah, so Charlie, you've got to pay another couple of quid still. So you get 2 entries, I think. Charlie, yeah. So you got another couple of quid, Charles, and then you got 2 entries. Cole Flowers 250. Thank you. Johnny 250. So, Tony, oh, you've done it as well. 750. I think that's everybody. Just Charlie, I think it is. You got another £2, Charlie. And then you get 2 entries. Oh, you've overdone it now. Thank you. Okay, plus 357. Okay, we're done. We're closed. What I find hardest, Phil, is when I'm buying in Briar. It just costs so much money. Briar and rods. you know, before you know it, your shopping cart is at 300-400 quid without even trying. You know, you just buy 20 blocks and you're already at 400 quid. It's crazy. Materials is just crazy, and then you get hit on the way in with taxes here. I took delivery. I got a letter in the post the other day from Parcel Force. I bought in some pipes, some estate pipes to refurbish. The pipes themselves, what did they cost? I don't even remember, but I got a bill. It came to about 70 odd pounds because of Brexit. So it's the way it is. Just crazy. The materials are really expensive. You don't think about it when you price up a pipe, and you price it out for what you think it's worth. You can't really price it for what you've got in the pipe. You know, it's just you have to take into consideration your position in the market. You know, how much can you actually charge? You know, you're still early on, and you got to kind of gauge what you need out of the pipe against what you can realistically expect out of the pipe, and that's always, I suppose, that's the biggest equation that you have to always sort of find a happy medium with. I entered in a couple of these raffles myself years ago on a guy who used to do them on Instagram. So it wasn't really live, and I kind of started to smell a rat. And okay, you could say that you're just unlucky, you can't win them every single time, and I kind of feel bad people entering it multiple times and not winning. So I kind of hope that over the period of time that, you know, people will, by the time they've, say, done a few entries, maybe I'll do it again another time, and hopefully enough people will win to feel that it was worthwhile entering. But I want to, you know, what's really important to me is to make sure it's transparent so you can see exactly what's going on. Okay, so that's that. No more payments in. We're done. I'll read them out. Number 1 is David M. Number 2 is Sean P. Number 3 is Phil R. Number 4 is Oscar F. Number 5 is Oscar F. Number 6 is David M. Number 7 is Cole F. Number 8 is Cole F. Number 9 is Charlie. Number 10 is Boris. Number 11 is Steph. Number 12 is Onion. Number 13 is Charlie once again. Number 14 is NC. Number 15 is NC. Number 16 is Phil once again. Number 17 is Mark. Number 18 is Cole. Is that? No, hang on. Make sure. Number 18. Cole, you got 2 or 3 entries? I think you got 2. £10. You got 2 entries. Okay, I've got 1 more spot, people. You got 3? 3 at 7.50 because you sent £5. Oh, and then you sent 2.50. So that's 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and so you got 20. 7.50. Okay, so you're a bit short. I'm fine. Okay, so it's 3 entries. I'll leave it as it is. No problem. It's 20. Each one I've done is 20 entries. Okay, are we cool? Do you want me to go again? Do you want me to read it again? Is everybody happy? Okay. Yeah, Phil definitely did it. I remember Phil doing it. Okay, 20 from 1 to 20. On your marks, get set. Number 6, David McNeil. David McNeil. David, you need to choose a pipe, either the one with the horn and the brindle, or the one with the eldritch. Good night, Steph. Thanks very much for taking part. It certainly seems to have worked tonight, doesn't it? You might help that you're all drunk from your Christmas dinner, though. David, is somebody going to message me on this pipe, which one it is they want? They're both 9mm, yeah. Is that you, Slippy? So you got this one, like I said, it's got the Ivorite extension with the horn, the real horn, and that beautiful brindle. And then you have the acorn, beautiful grain with the eldritch. Okay, do you know which one you want? And the fade. The one with the Ivorite. Okie dokie. I think I'm destined to keep this pipe, you know. I think I'm going to have a celebratory smoke in it, I think. Okay, so David McNeil, the horn. David's got the horn. So I'm going to set those aside. That one's gone as well. That one's gone. That was the first one. And that one's gone. What else have I got? Hold on, I need to just take it off my website as well. My pleasure. $250, $250, sure, no problem. Go for it. Send me the money. It's yours. Right, the only two pipes I've got left on my desk is that one and that one. This one I can't really auction off yet, but I want to show it again because I want to show off. It's going to be one heck of a pipe when it's done. Oh, I still have this freeform. Maybe I'll do that another night. Maybe I'll do this again on New Year's. I think that would be a good idea. An estate raffle. I've got a bunch of estate pipes on the way. I want to really do those together. I don't even know what I've got up here right now. I've got a few bits and bobs, but it's really not... I've responded, Skip, thank you. Do I still have that Stanwell? Which Stanwell? I've got Stanwells coming in and out the whole time. In the last couple of years, I've probably sold about 40 or 50 Stanwell pipes. I've become quite a Stanwell dealer almost. It's because I like them so much, but I end up not keeping them. Have I got them here? I think they're outside. I did have a bunch, but I actually sold the whole lot to a collector about a week or two ago. Okay, if it was a couple of months ago, then I don't have it anymore. But I've got a new stock which has come in. I've got 3 or 4 downstairs, and I've got another 4 coming in the next couple of days. So watch this space. There will be some more very, very nice Stanwells. One which is actually quite rare. Okay, so whoever won, please send in your details. Make sure I've got your details. Yeah, this one is an author shape. Kind of. It's a gorgeous pipe. It's got absolutely gorgeous grain. It's going to be an easy 3-star. It's a gorgeous pipe. Lovely grain on the base. Okay, this one is no longer available. Just done a side deal on that one, so that's off. So left on the table is just really that one. Well, I'll sell this one if somebody wants it. I actually also have, I still have this one, which I haven't sold. I originally sold it, but refunded the buyer because of a fissure in the base. But I've given it a healthy bowl coating. I don't know, I haven't decided yet if I want to sell it or not. Difficult one. Alright, we'll leave that. I just need to take off the other ones off, and then we can just go back to regular London calling mode. Why is that showing in stock? Just give me a sec, guys. Well, as a result of this evening's shenanigans, there's just 2 pipes left in stock on the website now, so thank you guys for that. I will be thinking up something to do, some kind of, I'll probably do this on New Year's. I'll do some kind of giveaway, because I've got to really show my gratitude to you guys. You've been awesome. You've really made it possible for me to exist financially in the last 2 years. My photography business has been just non-existent virtually, the odd job here or there, but it picked up a little bit, you know, as things eased off, but I've got a feeling it's going to go back down again. We're probably going to get restricted here even more in the coming weeks. So you guys have kept me alive. You've kept my family in food. You've kept my mortgage paid. So I need to give something back. So tonight, doing it like this, it helped me for sure. I sold pipes, but it also gave people a chance to get a pipe for a very small amount of money without losing too much money. So thank you, Oscar. So I definitely want to repay that and do some kind of giveaway. You can't repay everybody with a giveaway, but at least there's a gesture there. And I'll come up with something which will mean maybe multiple. Maybe I'll start to put out some of my tobacco from my cellar. I think I'll do something along those lines, just to give everybody a chance to get something back without it costing any money. So again, I'll say thank you very, very much. I'm really very grateful. It's been awesome, and it's a big help. It's all I can say. I can't really put it any clearer than that. You guys have kept me going. It's no exaggeration. No exaggeration whatsoever. Right, where's my cigar? That is the difference between Cuban cigars and non-Cuban cigars. I've been talking for I don't know how long since I last took a puff on this cigar, and it's still like, I just don't know why Cubans can't get their act together. It's a bit of a love-hate relationship. I love the cigars, but I just get so fed up. I've got in my humidor, you know, lots of singles which I just can't smoke because they're too tight. In every box there's always a few which you just can't smoke. Cheers, Bill. You're awesome too. The clue's in the name. Sell the calculator. That would be my brain. Silver Bullet. Bob Cigar and the Silver Bullet. I've never had a Silver Bullet. It's not a name I'm familiar with. Neither am I familiar with Bob Cigar. I have a draw tool. I've got 2 of them actually. I've got the Perfect Draw, which I think is actually the best tool on the market. But it's still, I've said this many times, this is a different one I got recently. This is from a new sort of to the market, Cigars of London. They started a YouTube channel maybe 18 months ago, and they started doing some merch, and this is one of the items they have. So it has a knobber on one end, you know, when your cigar gets too small and too hot, so you just pierce it and you just smoke it like that. It's a cool tool. And then you've got this, so they've got these little serrated niches which are supposed to kind of do the same thing as the Perfect Draw. So this is the Perfect Draw. By the way, this is awesome value for money. This is, I think, £10 I paid for this, about $14. And this is the professional one, which is about 50 quid, I think, or $50, something like that. So this one is smooth until you get to the end, when it's got these serrated, it's like reversed serrated. So when it goes in, it's smooth, but when you pull out, it's serrated. And it really does pull out leaf. It really does. It works, but it's still, I maintain that any of these tools, if you've got a cigar which is blocked or very tight to the point where you're literally squeaking when you puff, you can't get air through, these tools will allow you to get air through, but they will never make the cigar the way it should be. It'll make it smokable. So oftentimes when a cigar is really very, very tight, I just won't bother. And sometimes I'll leave it in the humidor, and then one day if I get desperate and I've got no cigars left, or I've got none that I want to smoke, then I'll do my best with that cigar and I'll smoke it the best that I possibly can. Usually what happens is, you know, you're puffing on it so much, eventually it starts to get bitter, and it's because you have to realize that when you're smoking through a cigar, say you've got a cigar like this, which is say 1/2 inch. I will, Daniel. Say it's 1/2 inch. You want to be drawing smoke through the whole of that 1/2 inch. Obviously, be through the bits of leaf that are in there, but you want it to be spread across the whole diameter of the pipe. If you pierce it, what you're actually getting is thin tunnels of smoke, and that's not giving you a cigar smoking experience. Yeah, I mean, you could chop them up and put them in a pipe. I've never actually tried chopping it up. What I've done is I nub a cigar, so if a cigar's at the end and it's getting hot, I'll just stick it in the end of a cigar and I'll smoke it like that. But I've not actually done where a cigar is too tight to smoke, chopping it up and filling a pipe with it. I've never tried that. I should really do that. I've never actually tried that. Bob's Cigar. Night moves. Check YouTube, Bill, now. Okay, I'll check that. I just don't know how Cuba just gets away with it, because the non-Cubans are so good these days. Okay, granted, I don't really like the flavor profile of probably 90% of the non-Cubans, but there is 10% of a huge array of cigars, so that 10% can still amount to, I mean, for my personal palate I'm talking about, so that 10% can still amount to 50 different cigars or 100 different cigars. James Stumbo, he sent me some cigars. He sent me the there's a problem with an armchair, you can't wheel over it, you have to move the whole chair. Aroma de Cuba, he sent me this box, a sampler, which is very, very generous as always. There's two missing, one I've smoked and one is outside waiting to be smoked. I smoked these a long while back, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I smoked a lot of them. The Aroma de Cuba, and I'd forgotten about them. And whenever people ask me about non-Cubans, which ones do I like, I always sort of recommended the Milanios and the Undercrowns and stuff like that, and I never recommended those because I'd forgotten about them. And I'm very grateful that James sent them to me, because he's reminded me that there's still such a wide array of non-Cuban cigars out there which are fantastic. Yeah, Oscar, I think you're 100% right. And I think they tend to be moister as well. There's more humidity, which means that they can clump together. The leaf clumps together. I find that with the non-Cubans, no worries, Johnny. I find with non-Cubans, the wrappers tend to be thicker. They tend to be thicker and more sort of chunky looking. But I think the filler is very similar. I think the thickness of the filler is very similar. But the Cuban ones do, I think, have more elasticity. They're almost transparent. If you have to hold up a whole leaf, they're almost transparent. So yeah, they do manage to work them a lot better. Thanks, Uncle Larry. You too. Yeah, I mean, so oftentimes when I'm going to smoke a Cuban cigar, I don't do this every time, but oftentimes I'll take the cigar out and leave it out for a few hours, sometimes even a day, to let it dry out a little bit, so that it smokes. But you have to be careful that it doesn't dry out too much, otherwise it burns hot. But yeah, sometimes I'll do that. I was going to say something, but I can't remember what it was. Do I think the method used to cut the cigar will make the draw looser? Yes, I do. Compared to a V cut or a punch. So I have spoken about this before, but I'm happy to do that again. Basically, if you do a hole punch, the hole punch tends to be, hey Steve, Kathy, the hole punch tends to be quite a bit smaller than the head of the cigar. So when you're smoking, all that smoke is coming through the hole of the cigar, and then it has to contract into that small hole. So as it's contracting, it's building up, and it's building up around the shoulders of the cap of the cigar, and eventually that's going to have a build-up of tar, carbon, or whatever you want to call it, but spent smoke, and that could influence the cigar's flavor. It could get a bit bitter a little bit quicker. I've gone through phases of all of them. When I started smoking cigars, I started with a punch. I enjoyed the punch. I liked the nice and neat hole, because doing a straight cut in the beginning when I wasn't experienced, I used to end up having the wrapper start to get loose or unravel. So I liked the hole punch. I then discovered the V-cut, and I've got a fantastic V-cutter, probably one of the best in the business. I have it in the car. The advantage of a V-cut is that you get the same area, the same square footage, if you like, of cut cap, but in a smaller area, if that makes any sense, because so essentially a hole punch, so you got that small hole area there, so all of that area there is where the smoke is gathering. A V-cut is also doing that, but because it's a V, you're actually exposing more, probably a very similar amount as if you were doing a straight cut. But the difficulty is the same as this, is that because you've got areas, all that area there and all the area there where the smoke has to divert past, again you're making a bottleneck. Possibly. I can't say that I've smoked it with a V-cut or a hole punch that many times that it's made a huge difference, but for me a straight cut is always the best. I've become a complete devotee to straight cuts, and I very rarely do anything else. Yeah, so Daniel, it's kind of a toss-up. So you could possibly get a better flavor concentration, but you might have it at the expense of the cigar coming to its end prematurely because it's got too bitter. If you're experienced, then you can purge the cigar often enough and sort of look after the cigar, then maybe you'll end up having a good sweet tasting cigar all the way through, and you've got that extra concentration. I'm not sure what they're designed for, if they're designed to be smoked with a hole punch or a straight cut, because sometimes you don't want too much concentration of flavor because you lose the balance. You start to get an overpowering flavor. It's hitting you too much of a concentration, and you can't then decipher the nuances between the flavors. So on balance, for me, it's a straight cut always. Well, Slippy, carry on doing the V-cut for a while until you're fully used to it, and then try a straight cut, and then see if there's any difference between that. And then if you remember what the hole punch used to be like, then that jump from hole punch to straight cut might be vast. So if you've just gone to V-cuts, carry on for a while, and then try the straight cuts and see if there's any difference. I'd be curious to know if there is a difference. I do actually have a very wide punch. They're quite rare. You don't see them that often. Have I got it to hand? I haven't had this out in ages. Made by Adorini. Right, so that's for pushing out the thing. But this one's got two sizes. So you've got the narrow one there, and you've got a really wide one there. So I reckon on most cigars, this is actually very similar to doing a straight cut. So if you have one as wide as that, then you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, I think. I think this is magnetic. Yeah. It's magnetic. It holds it all together. It's a neat little punch, having two sizes, so I suppose if you use the smaller one on narrow ring gauges, it comes to the same thing. And the wider one on wider ring gauge comes to the same thing. So yeah, I mean, it's really what you prefer, what you're used to, and straight cut has become just what I do. I might be completely wrong, and cold punches are just fine. You do whatever works for you, really. Hey Ross, I'll smoke a cigar. I'll go back to it even a day or two later, and it's fine. The purists, they really don't go for that. I remember I was at AJ Patel's shop, Havana. It's a LCDH shop in Teddington. And he said, I was speaking to his wife actually, and she said that, there's an advantage of pipes over cigars, is that with a cigar, all the best, Johnny, thank you for joining. With cigars, once you start it, you've got to keep going, and if you set it down, then you don't go back to it. And I was surprised when she said that. Look, I suppose if you're doing a review video, then you want to get the whole story of the cigar, and you want to get an accurate picture of the three stages of the cigar, the first, second, and third, then it would make sense that you need to smoke it from beginning to end without letting it go out. I get that. But when I'm working in the workshop, I'll smoke a cigar, and I'll be up to sanding, for instance, when I've got to wear a mask, so I've got to put the cigar down. And I might be sanding for quite some time. By the time I get back to it, it's gone out. Sometimes that'll be at night. I'll leave it for the next day. Sometimes I think cigars improve, and I've got no problem at all about going back to a cigar. If I'm doing a video, then fine. Yes, I'll smoke it from beginning to end. But otherwise, I've got no problem with going back to a cigar. Daniel, I've just seen your email. That's pretty awesome. I'll get back to you on that, but you're talking about a lot of money. It's not $100 or $200. To get one that's worthwhile getting, we're looking at closer to $1,000, if not more. It's not just one machine. It's a unit. You've got to get a compressor. You've got to get the gun, the hoses. It's not just a couple of £100. But I really appreciate the gesture. Really amazing. Okay, Sippy, in terms of Slippy, why your stuff is unraveling, let me just get another cigar and I'll show you, because I had the same problem. So this is a Quai d'Orsay. It's a recently revived brand, if you like. They stopped making cigars for a while. This is a Habanos SA brand. It's one of their brands, but they didn't really do much. And they 2-3 years ago they started making cigars again. They started with a 50 ring gauge. I think they do a 52, and this is a 54. So if you look at the pipe at the cigar, you can see it's got a cap. There's one there, and there's another one there, and there's actually a third one, but it's really close to the second one. You can see that there. You can see it better there. You see you got 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines. So those are the caps. What you want to do is you want to do the straight cut just when it starts to turn. I call that the shoulder. Okay, so you don't want to do it over here where you've got the straight parallel sides. You don't want to do it at all there. You want to do it somewhere after the first cap. So between the first and second cap, you can see it starts to, at the angle where it tapers. Just do it after the first cap and you'll be absolutely fine. It's when you go beyond the caps, that's when you start to unravel. So you just make sure you don't go past the caps. That's one of the advantages of using a V-cut, is that you don't have that danger. But if you just make sure you don't go past the third cap, then you're fine. You shouldn't have any problem with it unraveling. This is a cigar that I'd capped and couldn't smoke. You can't get anything through it. They're great cigars. I want to smoke this cigar, but it's just not worth my while. So it'll stay there till eventually one day I've got nothing else to smoke and I'll smoke it. I'll pierce it like a colander and do my best to smoke it. Yeah, well, the compressor is the main expense, Daniel. So the compressor, a pipe maker needs to get a compressor that will last, one that you can be using the gun for a few minutes at a time at least. But a lot of the machines out there that are for a couple of £100, you might be blasting for 10-20 seconds and then you have to wait until the air charges up again and then you go again. For a pipe maker, it's a waste of time to get that. So you have to get a decent machine that will allow you to run almost continuously. I did look into it a year or so ago. I spoke to a few pipe makers to ask them what I needed in terms of spec. I'll have to do that again whenever I'm ready to get a sandblasting setup. Hey, the Piper said, how you doing? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Phil. Daniel, very kindly, he sent me a message offering to partner up with somebody to finance a sandblasting setup for me, which is very, very nice. I'm not expecting anybody to do anything like that. I've always, from the day one when I started making pipes, I bought machinery as and when I needed it and as and when I could afford it. Excuse me. I'm not, looking to lean on anybody at all, and I don't want to run before I can walk. So I'm making plenty nice pipes without a sandblaster, and it's kind of been, the necessity has been the mother of invention. The work that I've done on this pipe is simply because I don't have a sandblaster. Okay, it's not a sandblast, but I think it looks great. And so I'll manage as long as I need to manage without. I'll manage. Yeah, I mean, when it unravels slippy, for sure, it definitely spoils it. You end up getting stuff in your mouth and whatever. Yeah, so my problem is that I don't know the first thing about sandblasting setups. What I should really do is go to somebody who has it and just understand it a bit. When Larison Pipes, when he folded, when he resigned from pipe making, he offered me his whole shop for a great price. He offered me everything in his shop. His lathe, his metal lathe, his sandblasting setup, his sanders, bandsaw, everything. All professional level stuff. He had the best quality stuff there. He had a Myford lathe, Super 7 I think it's called, and he offered them all to me at a fantastic price, even with some credit. But I just couldn't afford it. It was still an amazing price, but I just couldn't put that kind of money together, and I wasn't going to borrow. And he wanted to give it to me, a lot of it on credit. I mean, I had a few £1,000s set aside, but I'm just not like that. Maybe I'm too safe, but I'm just not like that. I want to do things at the pace that I can do them. So I had to turn it down, and what I did is instead is I bought all his material, so all his rod stock. I bought a couple of his motors that I did buy. I could afford that, although I still haven't used them, because the motor that I've got, it just works very well. But when I do finally set up wherever I'm setting up permanently, whether it's in here or outside, then I'll set up the motors so that I've got motors at perhaps different grits, so that it saves me time changing wheels and stuff like that. Alright Chip, thanks a lot, and to you too. Happy New Year. Thank you, Daniel. That's very, very nice of you. Most cigars nowadays will be triple capped. Certainly handmade cigars. Machine cigars, maybe not. Machine cigars you got to be really careful with, because I find those do unravel. And in any event, even if they don't unravel, you still get rubbish in your mouth, because it's usually short filler. So it's just little bits, little chunks of cigar leaf. It's not whole leaf rolled up. It's just, excuse my French, but it's just all the crap that's left behind. It might be good leaf, but it's just what's left from, I suppose, leaf which wasn't good enough to go into a long filler. So it's all the smaller bits that are left behind, and then just chop them all up into little bits, and that goes into a so you're never going to get a tight one of those, because the pieces aren't big enough. A raffle for a commission, that's a good idea too. Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, I hopefully not floor sweepings, although I've heard stories, but hopefully not floor sweepings. But listen, in a Cuban or any rolling factory, if they keep the place clean, and that's an actual intention, that they just pick up all the bits, it's because all the bits, when they're finished with the whole leaf, they're still trimming them as they're rolling the cigar for the particular Vitola cigar, the particular size, the length of the cigar. So there's always going to be offcuts, and that stuff will fall to the floor. As long as they keep it clean, then yeah, fine. The sand doesn't stick to the pipe. Basically what happens is, sandblasting, it basically means that you hold your pipe inside the cabinet, you have a gun, that gun shoots out sand at a very, very high speed, and what that does is it rubs off all the soft part of the briar. The sand goes back down into a collection thing at the bottom. I don't know enough about that, whether you can reuse it or not, whether you have to separate it from the briar or not, or that all goes in and you just reuse it. But the sand doesn't stick to it. The sand just is a way of think of it as tiny little bits of glass, which is what sand is. Tiny, tiny little bits of glass being sort of shot out at very high speed, and what that does is it carves around the hard bits of briar. It removes all the small bits of all the soft bits of briar and leaves the hard bits. So you end up with the grain, whatever grain you're doing. If it's cross grain, then you can see a little bit of the bird's eye grain, and if it's straight grain or similar, then often you'll get a really nice ring grain, which is what this is mimicking. You reuse it, right? Can you filter sand from briar? Can you do that? I assume briar is bigger, right? Sorry, I mean briar is smaller. Briar dust is smaller than... Although if it's knocking off, it's not exactly dust. It could be chunks. I know, for instance, Jim Cook, he uses just briar dust, doesn't he? He uses very, very fine briar dust. He doesn't use glass. You can sandblast mortar here. People do that. I prefer smooth mortar, but a lot of people do sandblast mortar. Glass beads doesn't cause anything if you inhale it. I'm not sure that you want to get a cigarette tobacco off the floor. I should imagine it did. Screen mesh to refilter. Finer it breaks down, less aggressive and finer blast. Right, yeah, it's stuff I need to get into fill at some point. No, I think if anything, rusticating or sandblasting a pipe makes it smoke better, because it helps the pipe stay cool when you smoke it. Silicosis, right. Yeah, I've heard about walnut husks. I've heard about that. Yep, I have heard about that. Right. Did you use sand when you were doing that automotive stuff, or was it always glass? I mean, the average automotive shop now, would they be using glass? Is sand still used as a media? It can as well, yeah. And also, Phil, have you have you used different media and seen a different effect on the sandblast, on how sharp, say, the cut looks on the ring grain? I mean, you see some carvers where the grain is really sharp, the ring grain is really sharp, and you see some where the ring grain is really smooth. It's like rounded almost. you know, the edges, there's either soft edges or hard edges on the ring grain. Have you yourself experimented with different media and seen those different results? Anyone have any tips on smoking techniques? I always smoke very hot and I don't know how to help cool the pipe outside of blowing through it. Well, blowing through it isn't going to cool it. Blowing through it will heat it up even more. If your pipe is still alight and you blow through it, you're fanning the ember. So you're heating up the pipe. If you, for instance, were to drive in a convertible car with a pipe, you will find that pipe quite possibly in a single drive could burn right through because of the heat, because of the air that's getting to the pipe. And it's making it, the ember, it's stoking up the fire. It's essentially, you know, like in the olden days they used bellows to stoke up a fire in a fireplace. That's what you're doing. If you blow through it, it does purge it and refresh the taste, but it also heats up. If you're smoking without a filter, you just need to slow down. You just need to slow down. There you go. Piper said. Said. I don't know if that's said or Said, but as he says, you've got to slow down your cadence. Do you stain the pipe first before sandblast or after? Well, I don't sandblast, so I can't give you an answer to that, but I think there's two ways of doing it. You can do both. When some people do a contrast stain and a sandblast, I think there is some possibly, because the thing is that when you stain it, you sandblast it, you're taking off the stain. I don't know, Phil would probably be able to comment on that better, but if you have a look at this pipe, this is a sandblasted LCS pipe, and you can see the grain coming through there, and whether that was stained before with a dark stain and then sandblasted, that, I mean, it's quite a craggy sandblast, so that would have had to have gone very deep. I don't think he did that. He told me at the time that he used some special chemical to make that grain come through. I don't know much about that. I'd have to ask him again how he did that when I get around to doing sandblasting. Will the stain go deep enough, Phil, for that? So that it's still there when you sandblast? Oh yeah, it does retain the stain? Okay. That's good to know. I did wonder about that because you do see, like, for instance, what's the name of that company? They do it quite well. Hang on. I'm too tired to remember stuff right now. Nirup, that's the one I meant, Nirup pipes. So he does quite a lot of those. And you do see the grain coming through. How did you know I was talking about Nirup? I was just looking up on the Danish pipe shop to just go through the names and see which one I meant. You know your pipes, Phil. You know what? From tonight's funds, I might even think about taking the kids away, the wife and kids away for a few days this week during the holiday season. Because I can't say we go every year during the winter holidays. I don't think we went last year. I can't remember if I went last year or not. But I had no intention of going this year. But I think I might reconsider that after today's pipe sales. So if I do that, you guys have funded my holiday. That would have been rusticated, Daniel. When you're sandblasting, you just get what's there. Yorkshire. Yeah, my kids had been looking at Airbnb, and they looked at Yorkshire. Derby, I think we saw a property in Derby. We weren't sure what it was like, Derby, but oh, it was Meerschaum. Alright, if it was Meerschaum, then it would be carved for sure. Don't think there'd be any point in sandblasting a Meerschaum because there's no hard or soft bits, unless you just used it to create a texture, but I don't know if it would be too soft for that. I'd love to go to Ireland. I keep saying to the wife I want to go to Peterson, but I don't think all the kids have got passports. I'm not sure. Nowadays, Brexit and all of that. His mum passed. Sorry to hear that. I wish he would be making videos. He used to love his videos. I know you guys are very close, very tight. You speak to him very regularly. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean, if yeah, I'm not sure. Peterson is in the Republic, isn't it? So if I was to go to the Republic, I'd have to have my passports. I'll be honest with you, I'm really not familiar with Ireland, which parts are north, which parts are south. I wish there wouldn't be that question even. There we go, that's not Ireland anymore. Rustic cottages in my area. No, I'm in London. I'm in the hustle and bustle of London, so there's no rustic cottages here. Yeah, that is interesting that you go to the Peterson shop, you'll pay more, but I guess they charge tourist prices over there. Well, if next time you speak to him, give him my best. I don't have a number for him, although I could contact him on Messenger. I'll send him a message. But if you do, please pass on my best. I don't know if he knows who I am or not. I've definitely interacted with him in the past, but I used to really enjoy watching his videos. Not just for his mannerisms and idiosyncrasies, but for the fact that you knew that you got a straight talking guy, and his hand gestures like that. But you knew that you were just getting straight talk, no BS. You know, some channels they do a review on a tobacco and you just such flowery language, and they start talking about these far out flavors that they're getting, and I just can never really be doing with that kind of review. My videos, my first impression videos, are also very basic in the descriptions, because it's what I understand, it's what I would want to see in somebody else's video, because I want to be able to relate to it. If somebody gives me some flavor which I've never tasted before, how can I relate to it? He does know me? Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's definitely a walking encyclopedia. When he sits inside one, his house is like a flipping encyclopedia. Which part of the country is he in? He actually speaks with quite a Queen's English, doesn't he? All the best to Steve and Kathy. He has a channel, but there's nothing on it these days. I mean, he might have old videos on there, I don't know. I don't even know if he still has a channel. Mr. Jonathan Watt, 1972. Yeah, he's still got his videos on there. He's got loads of videos. I mean, I think the most recent one is 5 years ago, and that was after a 2-year gap. So most of his videos are from 7, 8 years ago. That's most of the bulk of his videos. Hey Tony. Tony, thank you for coming on. Did you see my message? I think I did it, it was you. Did you see my message on an earlier video? The pipe that I did, which I think I did for you? A commission? Did you see that message? Hold on, let me just get this. I need to sort this out. I'm glad you came on. Hang on, I've got to check this. Hey Robert, how you doing? Merry Christmas to you. Pipe 488, Tony. Is that yours? Stubby billiard. I have seen Fuchs and Son. Very funny they are. The son works at what's his name? Cigar shop. Davidoff. Yeah, their channel is going really well. Yeah, so 500. But what was the last one you bought from me, Tony? Was it those two that I made for you? Were those the last two? Basically, I made a commissioned pipe 488, which is a stubby billiard, and I can't find any correspondence on it from anybody. And the only thing I'm thinking of is that somebody booked it during a live. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, because I can't find any correspondence on it, and I've actually sent it to somebody thinking that it was them, and it actually wasn't them. So they've been, which I'm very grateful for, they've come forward and told me that they've received the pipe. So I'm trying to find out who actually commissioned it. I'll have to just go through my PayPal and see who's paid me, and hopefully I'll find it that way. But I thought it was yours, Tony. You did buy 488. It was you? See, that's why I always tell people, put the pipe number on the PayPal payment, because I can't identify it otherwise. Okay, do me a favor, Tony. Take a picture of that payment and send it over to me. And I can marry it up with my PayPal account. Yeah, okay, that rings a bell, Tony. That's why I thought it was you, and I sent you a message. Because I was searching through our correspondences, and for some reason I couldn't find an email from you. I don't know, because I know we did the other two, and I couldn't find that either. So I'm really puzzled. I don't know if Google is somehow deleting messages or stuff like that. I thought we corresponded on email through the website. Is that how we corresponded? Because I looked through my correspondence through the website and I couldn't find it either. Really puzzled on that one. And I wanted to make sure it goes to the right person. It's the first time that's ever happened to me. You sent me a direct email. That's very puzzling. Alright, if you don't mind, find that email in your sent box and just forward one of them to me again. Yeah, I can't put the customer's name on it because I can't publicize people's names on the website. I use the PayPal payments basically for reference, and that's, I mean, if I have to, I can always track it back and find it, but it's a lot simpler if people put the pipe number and their name and address. I always ask people, put your pipe number and put a name and address. Even if I have your address and I've sent you pipes before, it just makes the whole process a lot simpler. So usually if somebody buys it straight off the website, then that happens automatically. I get an email from the website and it sends me the guy's name, address, and everything. That's no problem. But if a guy pays me direct via PayPal, I save a little bit of money, but it does mean that I'm relying on them putting the details in the PayPal payment. All right, Ross, have a good one. Cheers, Slippy. So you got the horn, David McNeil, right, Slippy? Let me just write your handle as well there so there's no confusion. Yeah, that you? Is that you? Yeah, I used to like watching his videos, Sayers videos. Okay, cool. Well, I've got it all written down, so we're good. I'll get those all out probably in the new year, or maybe before. We'll see how it goes. Hey Marge, how you doing? You're taking refuge from Christmas land. Good for you. So what, is he not well? Sayers Pipes? I forget, I don't know his first name, I can't remember. I sort of discovered him not long before he stopped. Yeah, so I searched your name, Tony. And all right, we'll get there anyway. Okay, so basically that pipe is already in America, and the guy who's got it, he said he's very happy to forward it on. So just email me your address again, even though I've got it, if you don't mind. Just email me your address again, and just write on it pipe 488, and I'll get him to send it to you. And also send me the payment, a picture of the payment, your PayPal payment, if you don't mind. So I need to just tally it up with my account. Yeah, don't worry, it happens, Tony. No worries at all. All right, Slippy, thank you very much, David. Thanks for joining. His account is Mr. Sayers. And his last, I think the last one he did was 3 years ago. The last pipe video that he did. Oh, he's done one 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. He's not, I don't think he's by a campfire. He's done a few videos making a pipe as well. I don't think I've seen that. He's using a wood lathe. Good man. Thanks, Josh. I didn't realize you were still here. Good man, Josh. Love you. You should be getting your package soon. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed too much with all the festival kind of post. Hopefully, I hope you don't have to wait for ages. There's stuff in there should keep you busy for a while. I like that one, Peterson Piper. Name dropping. Phil Rivara. Oh yeah. That's going to work every time. By the way, Phil, do you only smoke non-filtered pipes, or you smoke filtered pipes as well? Or you're not bothered? Or you smoke a filtered pipe, just don't bother putting a filter in? $185.61. Okay, I thought it was that one. Fine. What was the date? 7th of December. Okay. I thought it was that one. I'm going to double check it later on. Anyway, send me your details if you don't mind. Have you sent me the address in here? Just resend me your address and I will pass that on to the guy who's got it. And I told him I'll send him something as a thank you. Thank you, Tony. Phil, how come you haven't made yourself a pipe chuck, a briar chuck? Thanks, Tony. Each of us make a video, finishes first. Very funny. I'm really falling in love with this pipe. It's a magnum size, it's a big pipe, but it's actually not that heavy, and it's a lot lighter now that I've taken off all that briar. I have chuck being made, designed. It's BS. Well, if it's not crazy money, then I'll be possibly ordering one if you're going to start selling them. But for me, you wouldn't like. I mean, you know what I've been dealing with, and I still haven't done anything about that chuck that I've got. But what I would want is a chuck that will, number one, take a big piece of briar, because all of them seem to be limited at about about 2.5 inches, maybe a drop more, but about 2.5 inches. So if you want to make a big magnum pipe, or you want to turn a pipe, drill the holes, but you want to actually hand carve it. So you end up, you've got you're putting in a whole block in there basically. That would be quite cool if you get one which will take a block, say up to 3.5 inches, and one that will go straight into the spindle, or turn on straight onto the spindle. Either way, I mean, really and truly, if you wanted to market something like that, if it was made to be affordable but flexible. The problem with the chucks that you buy nowadays, you're relying on either having a metal lathe so that the grips go wide enough, whatever you call them, the sliders, they go wide enough so you can put that spindle straight into it. But if you've got a wood lathe, you're limited, you know. A 5-inch chuck, that's big, yeah. I mean, you look at some of the pipe makers out there, their stuff is huge. I mean, if you look at Larison Pipes, his one, he had a very big one made specially for him, and Ian Walker, Mike Billington, all these guys have got really old stuff, and they're just big, huge chunks of metal with just 2 prongs coming out, solid bits of metal coming out, and it's just a simple turn, and that grips. You don't have to worry about the little screws. When that grips, it grips. You don't have to worry about the block moving or anything like that. So if you can make something like that, which when you tighten it, there's enough torque there to really get that gripping without breaking your wrist every time, that would be awesome. It's kind of Jekyll and Hyde, but I didn't really want it to look like Jekyll and Hyde, so I didn't do it exactly halfway. So I wanted it to be more like, I've done a couple of these for Tony, who I was talking to before. I did a couple of these kind of things with apple-shaped pipes. This is more of like a strawberry kind of shape, but it's actually a flawless piece of briar. There's really, you can see here if there'd be flaws. There's no flaws on this briar. Virtually flawless. I mean, if you look under a microscope, you'll see flaws on any pipe. I mean, you can see a little dot, tiny, but it's basically a flawless piece of briar. what you would consider flawless. Which is why I'm kind of thinking about somehow keeping this as natural as possible. And this one is not filtered. It's a standard tenon, integral tenon. Nice silver band. Really, this should be pipe 500, to be honest. But it is actually pipe 499, so I have to stick to that. Design is for Morse taper or threaded. What, you saying it would work with both? 2 jaw specific for 1 jaw set, 4 jaw for 2 sets of jaws. Hey Mike, welcome aboard. Yeah, I mean the aluminium ones. Good night, Daniel. The aluminium ones, it's what I started on. Was the Vermont freehand ones. I've still got those. I lent them to another up-and-coming pipe maker for a while until he got his chuck, so he sent it back to me now. But I started on those, and those didn't have the pins, you know, and I never had a problem with it shifting. It's when I went up to the higher grade chucks that suddenly it starts shifting. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the lathe I'm using. The torque is just too strong on it, too powerful. Maybe that's why. But the one I've got now, which I don't use, that's stainless steel, and it's a beautiful chuck, but I can't get it onto my lathe. And I mean, Phil has given me some advice on how to go about it, but I just haven't got around to it. I'm just working. I haven't really got around to. I've got. There is one metal worker that I've got in touch with in the past about making me an arbor to fit onto the British motors, because the arbors you can buy in the States, they won't fit the motors here. So maybe I can get back in touch with that guy. But essentially, yeah, if I can get the chuck that I've got with a Morse taper put onto it, that would be the ideal thing. Yeah, I mean that's the problem that I had, Phil, because it was just too weighty. So the chuck was in the spindle, the briar chuck was in the chuck. It's just too much going on, and it was never going to be. It was never going to run true. The weight of it was always going to pull. Although I made some pipes with it, but I was having too much difficulty with it, and I've just stopped using it. And I've gone back to using my second set of briar chucks. I've got 3 briar chucks at the moment. I only use one of them. And they're okay. They're not perfect, you know, but you know what you do get as well is, because when you put them onto the ones that you buy from Vermont Freehand or from Raw Crafted, they're basically 2 blocks of steel or aluminium, and they are then screwed onto the chucks, onto a standard chuck, a wood chuck. The wood chucks, the sliders, they have a little bit of movement, so when you're putting your block in there, what you end up having is it spreads a little bit, so you can. It's often difficult to get it exactly on the axes of the lathe, exactly as you want it. Yeah, exactly. There's swing. That's the word. That's a good word. Yeah, exactly that. The further away you get, I was getting too far away. The chuck that I used was a hefty chuck. It was a really hefty, meaty chuck, and it had no problem gripping, but still, by the time I got to the wood, it was probably about 7 or 8 inches away from the spindle. So it was just too far, too much wobble. The Doppler effect is essentially what was happening for those astronomers out there. Oh, excuse me. Well, it'll be interesting to see how that works out, Phil. But yeah, I'll definitely be interested, depending on the price. I've already spent a stupid amount of money on the other ones. If I can get something like what you're saying, then I would just sell those. I'd probably be able to sell it without any problems, because they are a good chuck. If somebody's got a metal lathe, they're great. Mike, are you using a metal lathe or a wood lathe? I assume with your stem work that you're using a metal lathe. Oh, do I ever sleep? Oh, it's a good question. I really should call it a day now, actually. It's 3 o'clock. Bare bones profit. So are you going to do a run of, say, like 20 pieces or something like that? Or are you doing first a prototype and then go from there? Because I think that if it's a sensible price, I think you'll have a lot of customers for it. If it does what you're saying, if it really does it, and it enables people to get an accurate set of jaws without the spread and without the inaccuracies, I think you'd have a metal lathe for stems, a wood lathe for destroying briar. That's really where I want to be. Well, Phil, make 2 prototypes, because you want somebody to test them out, right? Come on, Phil. Make 2. I'll do the second one. I'll give you feedback. And you can redesign the second one. The second run. Let's put it this way. Between me and Boris, somehow or other, we get a couple of hours sleep at night. But yeah, metal lathe for stems and wood lathe for turning the blocks. That's where I want to be at some point. Yeah, well, I hear what you're saying on that, but without that, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to get into making pipes. So, without, put it this way, one of the people that first inspired me was Mother Do Pipes. Any of you guys come across him? He doesn't really make pipes anymore. He's a nurse. I think he's a nurse in a hospital, and in his spare time in his garage, he just he had a wood lathe, and he used, when you buy a chuck, you usually get a set of dovetail thrown in. So he used to just use 2 of those, and I think probably Phil, you may do a similar thing. And he would literally just use half of that set, and he would struggle to get it on there, but he'd get it on there, and that's how he did it. And he was one of the first people to kind of help me along with some basic questions when I first started using a lathe. And then obviously that live session which I had, which I've mentioned before. But he's I have to give him a lot of credit. Mother Do Pipes. So when do you reckon you're getting the prototype, Phil? As you said, you've got the CADs done, but you're waiting for it to be made. Is that right? Yeah, no, I was just asking you roughly how long do you think it will be till you've got your first prototype done and in your hands? You reckon on a few weeks, few months? What do you reckon? Realistically? No idea. It's a friend hookup. Oh right, he designs, installs, and they own them. Okay. I mean, the truth is, I probably could. I mean, one of the things which I've seen a lot of as well. Oh, you have prototypes over a year. Okay. You do see these machines, these older machines, where they've got these motors running, and you've got like a lever, and that lever brings. You see them like in the French and Italian companies. That lever, they're just going in and out, and they bring the bri block to the. Those are basically pipe making machines. They're made designed specifically for them, I guess. But I don't know if you can still get those kind of machines anymore. Mike Billington has them. He's got a couple of those. And I saw somebody recently with that. I can't remember. I saw it on. I saw a picture on, maybe it was Talbot pipes, maybe. You know, they have the like a sleeve which grips the stem, for instance, or the pipe, and it brings it into the spinning drill bit, and they got a big lever, and they bring the lever in, and it just brings the whole assembly up to the spinning motor. A phrasing machine. Yeah, is that what they are? Phrasing machines. Just have a look on eBay if there was such a thing like that available. No, nothing. No. No, I don't mean the pearl drilling machines. I've got one of those as well, and the idea of that was for cutting slots. You know, one of those little mini drill things. But I don't use it. It's just not accurate enough. It's all over the place. If that's what you're talking about. But if you're talking about one of these big machines, then yeah. I'm trying to remember who else I've seen it with. I'm pretty sure companies like Nording must have them. All these old companies, they must have them. But Chiquin, St. Claude, the various St. Claude companies must have them. The slot's too fat, yeah. I basically use the same concept, but I do it by hand. So I do it on the Dremel. I've just got a small enough bit that will do it, and I just do it like that. So I do the template with one of those round disc things, and then I'll hollow it out using a very, very thin carbide tipped needle, like almost on the Dremel, and then I'll finish it by hand. Once I got sort of that down, my slot making improved a huge amount. I used to struggle with the slot making, but you can see there, for instance, it's quite a nice, neat slot. It's not perfect, but it's 100 times better than it ever used to be. Yeah, I've seen the hacksaw blade thing. I first saw that on Jeff Graysock's thing. I don't know if he still uses that way of doing it or not. But he, the last video that he did, the last series that he's been doing recently, he uses. I think he used also a Dremel, but basically the Dremel was static in a vise of some kind, and he moved the stem, whereas I hold the stem and I move the Dremel, so it's not as, I suppose it's what you're used to. It's probably I should probably do something like that. Number 52 button drillings, or by hand, except until number 52 button drillings. I don't know what that means. One thing I did learn from him is the senior reaming tools. So he uses that to grip the pipe, and then he puts that into a vise, and he does. I've seen you doing videos of that as well, Phil. When you're sanding the shank and you want to sand it round. So that's something which I've started doing as well, is using the senior tool to grip it in the vise, and that, so you get a more universally round shank when you're sanding it round. Better to jig the Dremel. Yeah, I should really do that. I haven't done that yet. What are you guys using for off lathe shaping? Sanding wheel, French wheel, belt sander? Seems to be another rabbit hole. I use a sanding wheel. I've tried using a French wheel. Mike Briar Blues was very kind and he sent me one, but I've not yet gotten used to it. I use a sanding wheel, various different sized sanding wheels. The one thing which the regular sort of hook and thing, the Velcro ones which stick to the pad, the issue with some of them is that the backing pad can be quite thick, so which means that when you're trying to get into this area here, you can't really do that because it takes too much out of the shank. So that I tend to leave that fat, and I'll sometimes Dremel it out and then do it by hand. But I've started again going to an old sanding pad that I used previously, which is a lot thinner. The reason why I changed over is because I use one with a thick sort of backing, because it's more rigid. And I see some of the old Danish guys, they use these metal ones. I don't know what they call them. It's a certain material and it's got a bolt in the middle, and I forget what it's called, but a few people I've seen using those. But I just use a standard sanding wheel, a Velcro sanding wheel, and then when I'm sort of got the main shaping done, the heavy duty work done, I'll go to a smaller wheel, which is like an 1.5-inch wheel, 50mm, or 2-inch wheel, and I do a lot of the work with that, and that works very well. Yeah, so I've got a 12-inch, I think mine's a 10-inch disc. I use that just for squaring off the blocks before they go on the lathe. That's all I use it for. I don't use it for shaping at all. I find that if I use the sanding disc with a low enough grit, it just takes it off like butter. It's no problem. And these big sanding wheels, the discs are usually stuck on with adhesive. They're not Velcro, so it's a pain to change them. So I don't want to keep using it the whole time and then have to change it, because I've got to take off the bed that the steel bed, which I want it to be level, because I'm leveling off, squaring off the blocks. So I don't want to be changing that disc too often. so I use it only for squaring off. If I'd have a decent quality table saw and that kind of thing where I could get reliable straight edges, then that would save me a lot of hassle. But I'm not into, I don't have a machining background. I don't have any kind of machining background or woodworking background other than what I used, what I did in woodworking in school. I mean, I've, stuff around the house and all that kind of stuff, I'll turn my hand to pretty much anything, but none with any high degree of skill. This is really the only sort of work with my hands that I've really gone into with any kind of depth and consistency over a long period of time. So I don't have that machining background, so every time I need to get a new sort of process or which requires a new machine, it's a whole learning curve for me. Which is why I tend to just find my way with the stuff that I've got. I learn how to do stuff. You find your own way, and I think all pipe carvers are the same. You find your own way over time. You can sort of try and borrow as much as you can from other people in terms of method, but ultimately you just got to do it. The belt sanders, I first started using a belt sander for doing stems. When I first started trying my hand at hand cutting stems, I used the belt sander, but I now actually much prefer to just use the sanding disc, and works really well. So I'm not going to say I never make mistakes, and sometimes, and I know Mike does it as well because I see his posts on Instagram. You go right through and you go through to the draft hole. Yes, it happens, but it's thankfully few and far between, and you just learn to avoid it. But these are all done on the sanding disc. And they come out nice, they're nicely proportioned. And there's obviously a lot of hand sanding, it goes without saying. And then, obviously getting this thickness is done with hand filing, with metal files of varying different cutting sort of edges. But I find that with a belt sander, it's you got to be even more careful because you don't have that organic kind of interaction. When you're doing a belt sander, I find that I'm a little bit removed from what's going on the surface of the when you're applying it to the disc, you're feeling it, you're right there and you're feeling it. When you're on a sanding disc, on a belt, that belt has a little bit of give, and you kind of, I don't know, that's what you're used to. If you've got one of these long stretchy belt sanders, then I see the guys with their hand behind the belt sort of really getting the feel for it, and I suppose there's a good reason why they do that, because it helps you with the profiling. It's what you're used to. I suppose if I'd have one of those and really got to learn how to use it, then yeah, maybe it would be better. It's what you're used to. But I generally find that I find shaping on the disc works really well. Soak the files in acetone or vinegar to freshen the cutting. Okay. How long would you soak it in there for? Slack sander, yeah. And also with a belt sander, you've got a hard edge. So when you're 12 to 24 hours, okay. So thank you, Phil. With a belt sander, you've got those two edges. So depending on how you're using it, you're always going to have that sort of hard line. So obviously you can avoid that by just doing a little bit here, and moving it along so you've got that, you don't get too many hard edges. But there's always that risk, I found when I used it, of cutting a hard edge. can't quite picture what you're talking about, Phil, with the double-edged disc. Maybe next time you do a video, show us what you mean. I can't quite understand a double-sided disc. So do you mean that you've got your disc coming out of your motor and you've got abrasive on both sides, so that when you're sanding you can sand on that side and you can sand from behind? I'm not quite following. I saw a disc on, who was it was showing it to me? Ian Walker. So he's got a disc where oh, I see. So then you'd have to have it side on though to be able to see what you're doing, right? I've got mine literally facing me, although I do see most of them are sort of at a sort of an angle, maybe a 45-degree angle. But Ian Walker, I've seen he's got a disc. He's got a disc which looks like this, where the middle bit is sunken in. That's the side profile. So there's probably a bolt going through the middle there. But the outer edge here is, let's say, an inch or an inch and a half. And then it goes in. And he uses that when he makes the stem, so that when he's got the rough button done, so he can sand it like that. So he's not touching the button. So he can sort of carry on working on, say, a saddle. And he doesn't have to worry about nicking the button. So he's got this like that, which is cool. Yeah, I mean, I do have that when I'm shaping, when I'm doing the shank bowl junction, then I use both sides of the disc for exactly that reason what you're talking about now. So that side I'm sanding like that on the left side, and this side I have to do on that side. Ooh, 3:30. Alright guys, this has been an awesome chat. Very nice to have a chat with you, Mike. And Phil, thank you very much. Could go on like this for hours. We should do a Zoom, really we should. We should get a Zoom together of a few pipe makers and just shoot the breeze about method and stuff like that. Share you know, things that you can do which make your life a bit easier. That would be very cool. Mike, if you want to pick up the cudgel and do that, organise that, that would be cool. I think you've done some stuff like that before. And so if you, it would be really nice. I think that you would get a big audience if we publicised it a little bit earlier on. I think we'd get a big audience. People, even though they've got no intention of making pipes perhaps, but they love sort of hearing the banter and interaction between pipe makers. I certainly enjoy it when I watch other pipe makers, so that would be really cool. Maybe I'll have to learn how to use Zoom on YouTube. I've not done that yet. Yes, I do need to get some sleep. I'm sure my wife and my kids will want to go out tomorrow. They always do on a Sunday. So I'm going to say thank you very much to everybody. It's been a wonderful evening. Thanks again to everybody that was involved in the pipe raffles earlier on. I'm very, very grateful. You guys have made a huge difference to my life in the last couple of years. I can't understate that. I can't overstate that. You really make a big difference to my life and to my family's life. I do not exaggerate when I say that. So thank you again, everybody. And I will, please God, I will do something on New Year's. I have to think about what it's going to be, but I'm going to do something for New Year's, which will be me not taking any money from anybody, just something that involves anybody who wants to be part of it on the YTPC. So I'll have to come up with some ideas for that. If any of you got any interesting ideas, by all means drop me an email. So I'll say thank you very much, everybody. Josh, thank you for being a spanner tonight, and James, if you're still there. Have a wonderful, enjoy the rest of your festivities. And where are we? New Year's is, I won't be actually around on New Year because it's on Saturday, so but I can do it Saturday night, so I'll do my normal London calling. So yeah, so watch out for next Saturday night. Hopefully will be a New Year's special. I'll come up with something. Thanks everybody, have a great night. Catch you on the next one.